Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on July 19th, 2023 at approximately 4:21 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally live by. They're the same ones I personally use in my own day-to-day life. The philosophies of life I talk about are the ones that I literally use to guide my own life and my own life path. With this in mind, what I'm talking about here are tools that do work, have worked for me, and I've passed on to quite literally thousands of other clients over the years. Now, before I get into things, we're going to start off with the obvious part. And we have Eternity Eternal coming in through the door and through the gates with the gold. Adam Lakatos, you are in with silver. Chad Smith podcast is in with the bronze. And Amy Tonga is in with the honorable mention. Welcome one and all. And before I get too terribly far into things, let's minimize this. Oh, and I did it again, didn't I? Bet the answer is yes, so we'll have to take a look at that. Where, pray tell, that can go out of my way. And we go down here and we take a look at the Chad Smith podcast. Now this points to Chad's archives. And absolutely, go give him a check. If you like what he's got to say, absolutely do give it a thumbs up and then subscribe to the channel. You never know when he may get back into the saddle. Okay, now I'm looking behind me here and I did it again. And no, we're not going to sing that terrible song. Actually, it wasn't a bad song, but our voice on the other hand is. Now, that said, okay, I figured, let's take the next step. Now, we have talked a number of times. Dogface, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, I've talked a number of times about reclaiming your own life. Now we're going to get started on it. Okay, now I will keep you up to speed on what I'm doing. But let's see what we can do about getting your guys' life back in order. Okay, in order to attain the goals you personally desire. This idea of my just going, this is what I'm doing, that's all fine and dandy. But from my standpoint, I would really like to see your guys' life take a major turn for the better. Okay, and yes, I have my pad of paper so I can deal with things. Got my water. I still haven't gone out to get a fan, so I didn't bother making coffee yet. Mind you, what is our temperature looking like? Take a look at this. Oh, that's not bad. We're in the, at 32, we're looking, roughly speaking, 32 would be 654. We're in the high 80s right now, which is not a bad setup. Okay. The thing is, you desire your life to change. I can offer all the examples in the world that I've got access to, but unless you pick up the tools, it's not going to work well for you. I appreciate that, Chad. Hopefully, I'm partially to do that for. Maybe you're just a vampire, and at 4:30 at night, you finally wake up, and away you go. There's a lot of ways that can be looked at. Why, pray tell, did I turn that up? Oh, I know what I turned that open for. Let's take a look. And where are we here? The hardest part of all things is taking a look at where you are. You only got a little drunk, dog face. Tell you, it was a really bad day if I was only a little drunk. At least when I was drinking heavily, but what the heck. But no, I take a look at it this way. What do I got sitting here? Because I might as well do this while I'm talking to you. This thing here can get up and go out of the way. Because it belongs up here anyway. That way I don't have to worry about stumbling over it. One of the things that I have discovered is sitting with things all screwed up doesn't work well for me. So, what do we got here? Hey. Book's trying to argue with things. Not fun. So, I'm looking at this. And of course, this stuff here is stuff I've been working on today. The Positive Perspectives, the newsletter, is starting to gain traction. And like I said, the one big issue about it, when I'm looking at my life, I'm done sitting in the shadows. Okay, I'm done sitting back and going, yeah, Dogface goes, I can hold him down. It was more than a couple. Yeah, no doubt. And Bigfoot, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The neat part about this is once you get an idea in your head as to what you really desire to have happen, it's time to start doing so. Putting it back, putting it on the back burner, procrastinating is not going to do any of us a whole lot of good. Yeah, looks like I'm going to be getting up a fair piece. So, when I was told by a professional videographer that you got to sit still, clearly I missed that lesson. Okay, clearly I very, very obviously missed that lesson. And I wonder, don't have that here. No, I'll do that for tomorrow. Well, actually, I'll do it for Friday. Where are we here? That's terrible, guys. Chad's just going, Phil and Michiganer, Rob and I are only about 40 minutes from each other, and we still haven't had lunch together. Mind you, I only just found a friend of mine that went missing. Well, went missing. We got separated. I lost her phone number. Just a longtime friend, actually, the creator of Tanya Jan Scott from the Yldrbac Chronicles. I just tracked her down again. Ran into her by accident at the grocery store. We only actually live about 3 blocks from each other. And it's been years since we've sat down for coffee. But no, all in all, take a look at where your life is. Are you content? If you are, you're probably not doing a whole lot to shift your life. If you aren't content and you're not shifting it, my suspicion is you're not entirely certain of how to go about it. Now, here's a totally useless piece of information for you. This little book, one of those funny little things that got binding and everything. This is a more efficient thesaurus than anything on the internet that I've found. So needless to say, I don't exactly let it go very far. Where does it belong? Oh, it belongs sitting up there, that's why. Because it's up where my writing stuff is. So we take that. And there we are. Now, when you take a look at where your life is, okay, let's redesign it. First and foremost, ask yourself this. Are you content with it the way it is? If the answer is yes, then the odds are you're moving forward, you're staying right where you are. Yeah. I get a kick out of this. What's a typical Michiganer lunch? Well, a pit burger and fries. A pub burger and fries. I haven't been to a pub eating. Well, actually, I guess technically Wings is a pub. It's a licensed family restaurant. Doesn't really matter. I don't drink. But 3 times a year sort of thing. Now, in all fairness, years ago, I used to drink only once a year. I'd start on New Year's Eve, and I'd start on New Year's Eve, and I'd finish usually about December 30th. That way I had a chance to at least experience one day when I didn't have alcohol in my system. Not a great way to do things, but now the reality of it is you desire to redesign your life. First thing we do, take that sheet of paper, okay? Make sure wherever you're working on your finances, that's the brain of your house and home. And if you're running your own business, bear in mind, running a household is a business. You still got to pay your rent, your lease, your mortgage, whatever it is. Still got to pay your utilities. You still have to have food, insurance, all of that. It's still a business. Okay, so I'm looking at this. And, when I take a look behind it, this stuff here, I don't need that. This is the little notes I've been working on, but just before I go into it, we are on the 19th right now. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Tomorrow I won't be on the air. Okay, but Friday we're going to take a look at the paranormal for beginners. What do you go through? What do you watch for when you're just finding out you're involved in? Okay, this is a little bit different from my end, but what the heck. Now again, guys, if you've got a question that comes up, even if it is not in the topic we're talking about at the time, come right out and ask, but do put your questions in all caps, please. It's not called yelling at me. It's called simply getting my attention. Because I'll tell you, with everything written in small form, I don't see a lot of it. Uh-oh. See, the thing is, I look at that dog face, you're going, I'd like a double, right? Myself, if I'm going out for a burger, quite often, I don't eat burger very often. But if I'm going to go to a fast food place for burger, I'll go to Wendy's and grab a triple. I figure you might just as well overkill it and see what you can do. Oh, thank you so much, Bigfoot. I do appreciate that. And do say welcome to the ones that are sitting there, if you would be so kind. From my standpoint, it boils down to this. People have asked me a lot of really bizarre questions. And like I said, I will answer almost any questions somebody ask me. However, there are some, and it ticks some people off, where if I don't have go-ahead, I'm not going to give an answer. And it has nothing to do with what I think of the person asking. Well, you can always do now, who was it? I think it was Garfield that used to do it. No, Garfield stuck to only lasagna. But I remember one show, I can't remember who it was, but they always threw their hamburger into a blender and then drank their burger. Not my idea of edible. But I've already started working. Now, the newsletter, of course, July's came out as soon as it did. August is already in people's hands. September, I started writing yesterday, but I've already started putting it together. Now, because of the fact that I'm sensing there might be a little bit of an interesting fiasco where it comes to the email, I may have to watch the sides of it for the moment until I can figure out how to get around that. But Will I continue to produce it? The answer is definitively yes. Okay, like I said, the whole thing with the newsletter, whether it's going to you via email or via hard copy, either way, it's not going to cost you a plug nickel anywhere on the planet. Now, getting it off planet, sorry, you guys are going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with email, or you're going to have to come down and get it, because right now, the Postal Service does not actually supply mail to the space station, I don't think. Well, I do think, but I have no idea what they're doing there. So what I've got here, like I said, these are about to go up, and this is the poster I said I was getting put together to go on my back wall. And with that in mind, because I keep getting drawn back to it, I'm going to give you guys just a half minute pause, and I'm going to go grab one thing. Well, technically two. I'll be right back. You want to do me a favor? Check the fridge first and see maybe you can come out. Love you. Okay, I keep getting pulled back to this, so I figure what the heck, I might as well deal with this. But won't take me much. The fact of the matter is, from my standpoint, if you desire something to change, you're the one that's going to have to do the work for it. So for me, it boils down to this. Take that. All I'm looking at is tacking these into place so I don't have to deal with them. Well, that worked well. Because all this is what these posts and what the books, when you put them together, actually look like. Because it's literally designed to put the backs of the books together. Now, I had somebody yesterday ask for a synopsis on how the books actually fit together. Well, not that one. Okay, on what the basic idea was. Well, I've got two things that are going on right now. Okay, one is this neat little idea of see if we put this here, this will sit quite nicely for a bed. Is it going to be perfect? I wouldn't hold my breath on it. But then the reality of it is, what do we got? The funny thing is, Dogface, life can be hard. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer that we can't do a thing about what you went through. Whatever brought you to where you are, you're not changing. Okay, you can't alter it, but what you can do is you can alter the way things go from here on out. And that's what I'm concentrating on myself. Now, we take a look at that. Now, it's not perfect, and frankly, I've got a little bit of a problem with that. My eyes don't work right. Okay, and I realize you can't exactly see what's going on there. Adam, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, I was ready for the week to be over when I got up on Sunday morning. Or did I go to bed? That I can actually look at. Yeah. Sunday morning, as in the 16th, I got to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was back up by 6, so I still only got the 4 hours. But as you can see, okay, right here, that's the back of the first 2 books. This is the back of the Birth of the Wolf Pack. I doubt you can see much. This one here is the back of Return of the End of an Epoch. Now, I've already got the back designed on Return to Paradise. And Frost Kitten, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Adam, absolutely. I've already talked to them. I've already talked to the restaurant. I've already talked to the restaurant. The booths I usually sit at will seat 5. So if your friend is coming, that's great. If your friend brings a friend, there won't be a big problem moving it over to a 6-seater. So yeah. And like I said, guys, this Saturday, and this is literally because of the fact Adam's coming into town, this Saturday I won't be doing a live feed. Okay, at least not I doubt very much I'll do anything live on Saturday because of unless I do it first thing in the morning. But we'll have to see how that goes because my day is usually rather hectic. That's why I've got it set up that way. I'm guessing, Adam, you're bringing down your car, not the rig. Which reminds me, I do have to get that other neat little thing done. Yeah, Adam lives probably 10 hours north of me in another province, but, so we're just arranging. He's actually swinging down with his family, and correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but you did ask for, I'll have the books ready and the newsletter to be able to send back up with you. That's the easy part. Thought he might be. I will have the information there, and we'll be able to work that out. However things turn out. That's going to be the easy part. I came to the conclusion. I spent my life hiding from people, hoping people would wake up, and it finally came to my attention that number one, I haven't fit in. Most of my stress has been caused by trying to fit in. And I will tell you this. If you're one of these people that is trying to find a way to fit your life into the world around you, I'll save you a whole lot of hassles. Take a look at the laws of the land in which you are. Follow those. Primarily because personally, I don't deal with the vertical bar scene well. Okay. Now, this lifetime, I can only imagine what that's like. Because fortunately, I've never had a run-in with it. But karmic law is pretty black and white. So I look at it this way. I desire my life to become a beacon for other people. I'm done sitting back going, gee, we should just hope that the world turns around, that people get an idea that this isn't working. People aren't getting that idea on the whole. Okay, Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Hopefully you got the email. I sent you the story that I built the Yldrbacian Chronicles on. Okay, and that's actually the exact same story in the back of the books. Hopefully it arrives and you've had a chance to look at it, or at least it arrived. But I took a look at it, I sat back and decided it was time. Ultimately, Dogface, that's exactly what happened. I've been trying to find a way to fit in, and that was not working in this world. And then I sat down with an old friend of mine. They looked at me and went, in all the millennia I've known you, you've never fit in. So why are you trying so desperately to do it this time? So I went, good point. How about if we change things a little? And that was what I was working on this morning. So I said, how about we change things a little? And we're going to open the doors up and we're going to go, okay, I'm redesigning the way my life is going. Now, of course, that can go back where it belongs. Yes, I'm sorting things out while I'm doing this. Kind of works out that way. All right, for row. That goes there. And I do believe that is book 12. Yep, I think that's down one row. Yep, it is. Book 10, book 12. So we pop that down there, and away we go with that. You know, all in all, life is what you make it. Now, it's very easy to up and die. Okay, trust me, I've done it often enough. It's actually very easy. The question is, how are you going to live? You know, or more to the point, are you going to live? Whoops, we take that, get that out of the way, put that on top. Yo, I was working on it today and I just figured I've hidden. So what it is now is it's a question of let's make things happen now. Who out there has a goal that you really would like to get on the ground with and really start to make happen? Who was it? I was looking at something the other day. Okay, I don't need that. I need this. Okay, yeah, I always love people that I tell them I'm going on air and then they contact me on Messenger going, can we talk for a moment? No, we really can't. So, because frankly, I'm on here. So we just go, we'll talk to you ASAP. The funny thing is, growing up, it used to be a question, it used to be a question of turning around and, you go, I'll talk to you as soon as possible. Somewhere about a decade ago, I shortened it up. I just talked with the acronym. And then somebody decided talking with an acronym is a really good idea. And hence the short term on the social media was born. No, not my fault. What do we got here? That. Okay, that's stuff I got to look at today. And that. Oh, that was painful. Do not stub your foot on the bedroom wheel or bedroom leg. Not a fun thing. But take a look at where your life is right now. As you saw, everything was laid out on my bed. Yes, my office is in my bedroom. Had to do with the fact I've only got 3 rooms. And my eldest son moved back in, and there was no question that he had to have his own room. Frost Kitten is going, I'm editing my first game tutorial, so I guess my goal is 100 views. Bonus. Frost Kitten, I don't have you. I'm going to save you a whole lot of hassles here. Let's see if I can do this. And we're going to solve a whole lot. Here we are. Just pop that in there. And hopefully this will help you. Okay, that's going to take a minute. Wonder if I did that right. Oh, I know what I got to do. Refresh that. Hopefully I did what I was intending on there. Try that one more time. There we go. Hopefully this will help there, Frost Kitten. Okay, if you want to post the link up there or whatever it is you need to get people to take a look at it, pop it up in the chat room. And let's see if we can't make that happen for you. Okay, at least help it. Okay, that I'm hoping that will help. So I'm going to ask you, and I realize you're not on air. I understand that. Hopefully the link explains exactly what it is. But you've got your first game tutorial that you're editing right now. What is the genre of the game that you're building? Just because I'm nosy. That, and like I said, if I can help you guys get things mobilized in your fashion so your life can do what you'd like, then my job's being done properly. Okay, I love people that go, no, I don't. They go, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to try and help you do this. So I mean, from that standpoint, I definitely encourage you to get started on. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, and I do appreciate that clarification there, Dogface. The reality is, I cannot. It is kind of. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. See, I'm not quite certain if jellies, when I was making jelly, it was a lot of work. But, I'm all for these things that work on building something. Okay. Instead of just shooting whatever comes through. I don't handle it's not that I have a problem with them. Online gaming, yeah, Dogface, I can see where that's going to go. And yeah, you add that, and all of a sudden you're going to sell jellies like there's no tomorrow. But I am a firm believer that with the support I've seen that I've received in this room, I am a firm believer we can pass that on and get support to the rest of you. But it boils down to knowing what people are aiming at. Now, I know that Nathan, he's not in the room right now, but I know that Nathan is working on a little project. And that's going to be fun to watch evolve. Oh, all that stuff's up front for me. But like I said, get it down in point form. Now, I was asked today just exactly what I'm planning on doing with the newsletter. With positive perspectives. And what I'm looking at doing is, number one, turning it global. Now, understand, 80% of my net profit will end up going back to the contributors, to the employees, to the customers that are buying, whether they're getting me to consult for them, buying books, or buying some of the paraphernalia that's coming out. Okay, any of that works. Now, I will tell you this. Okay, I won't be keeping a lot in stock, so it'll take a couple of days. But I have decided that these pictures here, okay, these posters that I've got, if somebody wants them, I will be more than happy. I've got to find out what the price is going to be eventually, because I don't know what it's going to cost me to start with. I still haven't paid for them. I keep going in there. They make the stuff and go, don't worry about it. We'll catch up with you on the next run, which is really kind of neat. But right now, what I'm looking at is taking my world and turning it into and there we go. I will have to take a look at that after the stream here because I don't want to hang things up. Where did I put my pen? Of course, my pen's way over there. Wouldn't that just make sense? But the thing is this: you pick a what do we got here? Might be able to do it after all, but let's see. We go there, we go click, and there we are. And Frost Kitten, we are now subscribed. And I figured I was going to hang up on you. Well, hang up on everybody. I will have to take a look at that, in detail. But I do have a subscription in it at this point. And by the way, just a quick update. According to what I'm looking at, you're already at 16. Now, with that in mind, guys, okay, for the rest of you that are viewers, Frost Kitten just put a link up. Do us a favor. Okay, well, do her a favor is more to the point. You go to her channel, give it a listen if you like what she has to say, do subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it. Okay, now I know, like I've got on my channel here, let's see here. I've got right now, like we're fluctuating again, it grows slowly, but I've got 521 subscribers right now. Let's see if we can't get Frost Kitten over the 100 subscribers before the end of this broadcast. I'm not holding my breath on that, to be honest with you. 2 hours isn't a lot of time. But let's see what we can do for you. Okay. So we'll take a look at how that works. But with that in mind, people, get an idea in your head of what you're aiming at. Now, when I look at Inner Voice Enterprises, I'm building an empire. This is for me, empire boils down to I'm going to set up everywhere in the world that I can get to. The internet makes that easy. Okay, the newsletter and the stream are just simply going to stay free. It's that simple. Okay. The rest of it will depend on where you are. Okay, now the consulting, which is one form of income for me. Okay, well, we have this. We've got the books is one form. Okay, we have government because of the fact that, good news on that note is, I hit 60. I'm now starting to push for getting my retirement covered. Okay. I am doing the consulting at this point. Okay, so there's 3 streams of income. Now, I've already decided that on top of the books, these prints that are up here, and I will be getting other ones done as I go along, that I will also be turning around and selling. Okay, again, it boils down to finding a way to build a stable income. Because I don't know about you, but I don't relish the thought of living on the street. I also don't relish the thought of living in amongst all kinds of junk at this point. Okay, but what do I got going on here? If I go to my to my email, okay, that came in, which is good. What's spam doing for me? Okay, that's always got the same stuff in it. And I just don't need spam. Mind you, I did find that I have to keep an eye on my spam panel, on my spam file, because apparently some stuff goes the wrong place. Well, that's the thing, Dogface. I met a guy, I think he's 85. Okay. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I'm glad you could join us. I was talking to a guy, he's either 84 or 85. He asked me how old I was. I says, I just turned 60. He goes, die now. Because at this point, all the doctors are going to do is go, Here's a pill, take this. If that doesn't work, we'll give you a pill to handle the side effects. Now, myself, I'm changing things. I'm no longer willing to sit back and go, okay, let's discuss how bad the world is. The world has problems, absolutely. But why broadcast it? Why add more fuel to that? Okay, so I mean, here we have, we got Joe here. Yeah, Joe goes, hi, hello, I'm late. I've been talking all day like I'm autistic, and I'm not. But it's not my fault. And I've repeated myself way too much. Tell you, I have throat mumble all the time. Of course, I have a tendency of sticking my foot in my mouth. And have you got any idea how complicated it is to try and talk with your mouth full? What do we got here? Yeah, Dogface goes, I only take pills that aren't prescribed. I take ones I need. At this point, this is not coffee, guys. This is just cool water. But not Happy Days cool. Now, I've got a list of things I'm working on here. And we did, in the last 2 days, we really sat down and got buckled in. And I think we've gone through like 15 pages of final edit on Return to Paradise, the next book in the Yldrbacian Chronicles. Okay, I'll be doing a lot more writing on that tonight, because I've still got a chunk that I've got to get written. And of course, the fact of getting Races of the World's the second printing done. But this is why it is absolutely imperative you figure out how you're dealing with things. Why would it do that? I'm looking up here, and only some of the stuff is coming through. So, what do we got? There we go. I love the way this kicks around on occasion. But when you've got a goal in mind, now I know a couple of you have phenomenal dreams. I absolutely am dead certain of it. What I don't know specifically is what those dreams are. But I do feel if we work together, we can make it happen. Okay. And I've got one poem sitting in my inbox, or sitting in my messenger, that somebody sent me. Now, whether they want it in the anthology or not, I don't know. Okay, but I am putting it together. Emmy, I don't know. I think I saw you come in earlier. Did I not? Let me see here. Yep. Exactly there, Frost. The reality of it is this. Okay, when we all work together, we have a monumental task ahead of us. And I've been in this life. I've come back to this same message on multiple lifetimes. Okay, where what I came back to tell people was, look, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it really boils down to this: be nice. Okay, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, from my standpoint, I watch the number of people in conflict with each other. And, I was talking to somebody just yesterday, where the picture they painted of their daughter was just absolutely pathetic, right? Painted a real bleak picture. And then the daughter tracked me down directly. Now, I've known both for a very long time. Well, here's the neat part there, Joe. Take a look at that word, at the word insane. In the state of sanity. So, I don't know. I'm kind of at a crossroads there, whether I desire to be sane or or be insane. Okay, now sanity seems to be buying into what everybody else tells you. Okay, insane seems to come across as following your own guides, following your own interpretation, and living life. And I don't mean go run in traffic. Okay, live action Frogger is not a good game. Although, as a driver goes, it's not a bad one. But no, strike that. Cowie, yes, I do. Cowie was just asking. Remember, we were talking about how many times we came back to Earth and what is trying to be accomplished? Yes, absolutely. I finally got that message wholeheartedly, and this is why I all of a sudden about a week ago went, no, we're doing this. We got billions of people listening to other people, standing in front of a crowd going, boom, boom, the world is going to end. We're all going to hell. We're all going to burn. Okay, I'm telling you, hell exists. Hot tubs are way too flaming hot for my way of looking at it. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I figure, okay, pound on the desk if you want, but the last time I pounded on my desk, I spilled my coffee. I was not happy. Okay, I wasn't upset, except for the fact I lost my coffee. Technically, I didn't lose it. It was right there on my leg. But you never filter coffee through a pair of jeans, especially not one that you've been using while you've been cleaning house. The neat part there, the base is this. Okay, and we'll get to that right off the bat here. Where are we here? Dogface is going, we all have complications with interpreting vibration, but what's the base? What is the core? Okay, go way back to your first incarnation, your complete soul. Okay, that core, that's where it starts. And what you're here for is to remember you, which means pull all those little thoughts together, all under one individual mantle. Okay. That's the first rule. The core is what you are driven to believe. And I don't mean what you're trained. Okay. I was trained in a lot of different factions and finally figured out that it's time to step into the spotlight and go, okay, guys, time to get up. What are you not content with in your life, in your neighborhood? What are you not happy with? Okay, and we're going to look at that, but we're also going to look at this other issue. What are you content with? Because it's the things you are content with we're going to start organizing. We're going to start working as a family, as a unit, and making this world, guiding it back to a much brighter tomorrow. Okay, I remember 50,000 years ago, humans had a beautiful world. Okay. Well, we really did, but we had no war, no jealousy, and no famine. Now, Frost Kitten is going, Keith, do you think CERN is somehow affecting our reality? Well, considering the way you asked the question, the answer is absolutely yes. But is it controlling your reality? That's your call. I know CERN is out there. I just ignore it. Okay, it's like, that's not part of what I'm listening to, so I'm just not going to do that. Okay. But does it have an impact? Absolutely. I'm glad to hear that, Joe, and I'm absolutely certain Nathan is going to be really tickled pink to hear it as well. Joe's just saying he's absolutely loving Nathan Nathan's The Quantum Channel. Okay. And just for those of you that are not entirely aware of it, let us take a look at this. Where is the Quantum Show? Now, of course, the Quantum Show comes on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific. Okay. And we copy that and we pop it down here. This is the link to Nathan's channel. And again, give it a listen if you like what he has to say. Hey, nicely done. Yeah, no doubt. And Nathan, I do believe, pardon the quote here, but that's quantum. Okay, talk about perfect timing. But the way I look at it is this. We've got a world we can focus on all the negative. I'm not interested in focusing on the negative. And this is why in the newsletter I tell you, yes, there is negative stuff out there. All kinds of ways that you can find to get depressed, to get disappointed in people, to become depressed. All kinds of ways to do it. So have a happy and go find it. In the meantime, from my standpoint, boils down to this. I recommend not pounding on your desktop. You may spill your coffee, or in my case, I've got a glass tabletop. So pounding on isn't necessarily a good idea. But I'm looking at it this way. Hopefully, Nathan, you've had some more of your stuff show up. Where are we here? Things have been hectic on my end. I finally got my head on straight as to what I'm doing. What is this? Okay, that's got to be added to. This is going into this. Get that out of my way. This is for September 2023. Oh, fantastic, Nathan. We were just, and Nathan, as a matter of fact, I don't know if I've got it there, but where is what we're looking at? There we are. Nathan, this is directly for you. Okay. This is, let's see if that works right. Yep. This is literally Frost Kitten just put up a new website herself. Okay. That link, give it a shot, and like I've asked everybody, let's see what we can do about getting Frost Kitten up to her 100 subscribers. Hope I grabbed that right. I think I put the wrong one in there. Frost Kitten, if you'd be kind enough to reinsert that link, that'd be great. And send me a copy so I can get it onto my list. Now, what do we got here? I gotta go back here. Let's scroll down and see what's coming. The neat part about it, like I'm looking at this going, it really is time for us to start pushing and start getting people standing up and going, it's time for us to all find a way to be happy. This idea of looking at the world and going, it's all going to pot. We can. Okay. And I know for the length of time I was on pot, it was actually not a bad time, but not a brilliant way to do it. But I'm looking at this going, I hid so much, I hid from so much over the years that it was just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, I already know that. I am looking at. Oh, there we are. See, we're already up to 18 and climbing that, Frost. We'll see what we can do for you. The fact of the matter is, I hid from the world for a very long time, hoping that people would figure out that you've got to work together. Unfortunately, this was not the way it worked out. Okay, what happened was people continued drifting. Now it's time for me to come out of the shadows and go, okay, what are we doing to make this world better? What are we actively putting effort into? What did I do? Number one, okay, I took a look at my consulting fees and I cut them again. Now, to be honest with you, I am one of the few that can legitimately tell you I have actually been paid over $2,600 an hour to do exactly the same thing that I now charge $20 every 15 minutes or $80 an hour. Okay, I've been paid legitimately over $2,600 for that same thing. Now I've been doing this for, well, quite literally, I've been doing it since 1976, public, where it's been professionalized in generating an income. Okay, on top of that, the live stream that I'm doing is going to, the live stream that I'm doing is going to remain free. The newsletter, doesn't matter where it goes in the world, is going to remain free. Now, the neat part about this is my database. Good luck for any computer hacker to hack it. Not going to happen, because in case you couldn't tell, which you probably couldn't, but this is what my information is stored on, not on the computer. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. Anything that goes through a computer is tracked. If you think it's not, you're completely missing the boat. Okay. What am I looking at here? Yeah, Frost is just, what do we got here? Yeah, and this is the thing. I was talking to Nathan the other day, and we had a very similar conversation. Where is the focal point? What are you aiming at? Now, in my case, I've got three. Okay, I've got general self-help, which is let's get things moving. But I have decided that on Tuesdays, we're going to look at the alien issue, at different races, at different agenda, that sort of thing. And on Fridays, we're going to look at the paranormal, which is why this Friday, we're going to be looking at the paranormal for beginners. Yeah, we haven't got to that just yet, Derek. Mind you, I do know, like Nathan already mentioned, that the last of the parts for the engine came in. Okay. Ouch. See, this is the thing, and this, Dogface, you're talking about this whole issue. Okay. I've already got, and this is something I do have to sit down with Nathan, because Nathan, I'm certain you've got the wherewithal to make it happen. I've got the design on paper without any of the mathematical or scientific calculations. Okay, I've got the design sketched out on paper to combine thermal, solar, and wind power. Okay, with one nice little converting unit. What I don't know is the technological side on how to make it happen. Oh, I thought they'd all already arrived there. But no, they're on their way on Saturday. This is great, Nathan. I'm in the middle, and this is something I've got to put together for when Adam gets here. I've got a bunch of questions I do want to bounce off you while we're having our little conversation. And I already talked to the restaurant owners. Basically, we'll be able to sit there as long as we choose to until the store closes. It's a funny little setup. And I remember somebody sent me a picture and went, I have no idea what this thing is. I was simply given it. He goes, I just downloaded this picture and all the specs. I'm building it, but I can't get any reading off it. Right? He says, I know it's working, but I don't know what it's doing. So he says, do you have any idea? I took one look at the picture and went, here it is. And here's the neat part. And let's see if I've actually got the file already open. Not YouTube. I do not have it open right now. That would figure. So, let's see what happens if we do that. Open up. Let's go. Open. Races of the World. Where is it? Second printing. That one. Okay. Let's take a look at this fine little piece of equipment. I've got the specs here on something called where the heck is it? Okay, movies technology. Oh, there we are. What he sent me was pictures of something called the triphasic transmographer, which, by the way, I've already got the general description in Races of the World's second printing. I've actually, at this point, under technology, we've got we got 2 pages of technology, of types of technology they're working with. Okay. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, let's get that sorted out right now. Remember that thing I mentioned? When you get an idea that's got to be dealt with, it's time to put it to paper. Time to make it happen. We'll minimize that and minimize that, and there we have it. I will have to try and track that down again. LA Moon, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Cowie, the triphasic transmographer is a cross light years communication device. But not only is it for communication, it's auditory, visual, and physical relocation. Okay, now somewhere in my files I've got the picture of the thing the guy sent me. But when I was talking to him, I took one look at it and went, this is what it is. Told him, he says, I can't pick up any readings of it. I said, check your magnetic outlet. He goes, but it's not a magnet. I said, that almost matters, but check it anyway. And I don't recall what he gave for the specs on it, but right off the bat, he was picking up the emanations. That's just the reality of it here. What do we go here? From my standpoint, boils down to this. Between the bunch of us, the people in this room, there's no shortage of my brain power here. There's no shortage of creativity. Okay. And, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of shortage of direction. But I finally decided it was enough. Like I said, I've been here multiple times. Okay. aiming to pass on the message that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Okay. And no, I'm not about to tell you exactly which lifetimes I pulled that off in. Okay. But there are some people that know of some of them. And when people figure out just exactly which ones fit, Joe, in all fairness, Kimberly's never mentioned one to me, so I can't give you an answer. Hopefully, if Kimberly's in the room, she'll let us know. And like I said, I will certainly. Nathan goes, to be honest, I work better with a manager managing me. From my way of looking at it, I've never done well with a manager managing me. It turns out one of the biggest problems I have is I'll spot a flaw and go that direction. It's like, this ain't working, I'm going that way. That's what got me started in this design, in the way things are going. Okay, but I sat back going, people have got to get the message. Sadly, Romans had the option. 50,000 years ago, the Lemurians figured it out. Derek, I didn't have a clue how long it took. I do know this, though. When you take a look at the number of times, yeah, no doubt. No, I do know that NASA comes out and says, "Hey, we finally got a rover on Mars." Now that was news in the 70s when they did it. When they did it in the first place. But the reality of it is, I'm turning to you guys and going, okay, we've got to take this whole drive to make this world, to guide this world back to a better place. Okay, because I've sent a lot of people back to church over the years, and now I've been thinking about it, going, church is a wonderful place for brotherhood. It really is. However, if the person that's leading it is telling you you're going to go to hell because your grandparents did something bizarre or because your parents did something, you might be thinking in terms of the wrong fashion. Now, Cowie, it depends entirely on the type of medbed that they decide to work with. Using quantum technology first of all, is it possible? The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. The reality is, whether you understand it or not, technology works on a subquantum level. Okay. First and foremost, let's clear one thing up. I love the one, Dogface. I love the one that I got told. Somebody looked at me. They were a real heavy-duty, locked on the Bible thing. I made a comment, and they looked at me, and they went, "There is a place in hell for people like you." I looked at the guy, and I went, "Yeah, they call it the throne." The fact of the matter is, from my standpoint, it boils down to this. I've died so often now, it's a question of God doesn't want me and Satan's afraid I'll take over. Which I think is okay. I can work with it. But yeah, the reality of it is, and I do agree with you there, Frost Kitten. Frost Kitten says 2 heads are better than 1. Now, if 2 heads are better than 1, understand, you still have to have 1 head that's going, this is what the goal is. Okay. Here's the goal. Now, if we go to the Eastern philosophy, okay, and specifically if we go to Japan, in Japan, they take a corporation, and the CEO or the owner sits there and goes, this is what I want. He goes all the way down to the broom pusher and goes, this is what I desire. What do you need to get me there? Okay. In Western society, people go, I'm the owner. I'll talk to my CEO. He can talk to the manager. He can talk to the assistant manager and all the way down. Well, try the old broken telephone method from back in kindergarten. Okay. And you can do this with adults. Okay. Get a bunch of you together. Okay. 10, 15 people together. As a class, we used to do it with 20. Okay. But get 10 or 15 people together. And all you do, the first person takes a sheet of paper, writes down the first message. Okay. You don't show it to anybody. You write down the message. Doesn't matter. It can be something as simple as the cow jumped over the moon. Okay. You write it down, turn around, and you whisper to the guy next to you or the girl next to you. Whisper that statement and only that statement. Okay. You don't show them the paper. They whisper it to the next person. When you get 15 people down the line, tell the last person to say what the message was. Okay. You will be appalled by the outcome. Okay. Because I'll tell you, the scramble job that happens in messages is bizarre. Okay. But this is why I turn to the people like you guys and go, okay, this is what I'm aiming for. What do I require to get there? Okay. And am I entangled? Is it already written in? Like I said, 80% of my net profit. Now, I think my net profit, well, let me see here. Oh, I don't need a calculator to figure that out. Okay, net profit. I take a look at my tax line. Okay, I get a 10% discount because it's a home-based business. I get a 10% discount. Okay, for like a 10% tax credit for my business in my house. Well, my house cost me somewhere I put a $2,500 to run my household where I can live quite happily, which means my overhead to run my business is $250. 10% of 25. Okay. Net result, 10% of everything over $250 will go back to the employees, to the co-workers, to the contributors, and to the customers. Okay, I'm only keeping 20% of my net profit. Okay, I don't require a staggering amount, but this is just my way of doing things. Okay, and this is why I turn around and go, okay, this is what I require. And therefore, I've already started working on a number of different things. A number of different ways of enhancing the business. Enhancing, that came out well, the impact that we can have on the world as a unit. Okay. It is absolutely imperative that we quit listening to people telling us the world's going to end, because it'll save you a whole lot of hassle. It is going to end in about 5 billion years, give or take. Talk to the astrophysicists. They're the ones that'll be able to tell you how long the sun is going to survive, approximately. Okay, but I can tell you, when it goes, it's taking everybody with it. Dogface is just going, Chinese whispers, last result, the moon is made of cow's milk. Pretty much. Absolutely, Dogface. This is what we've got to concentrate on. This is why I'm looking at the world going, okay, we've walked around in the dark long enough. The people that are guiding, I always got a kick out of it. And this one really strikes close to home, by the way. But why in tarnation, if you follow the Bible, why, pray tell, follow a guy that got lost in the desert? Why follow him for 40 years? Okay, now I will tell you, I'm 60. I've been lost for 60 years, but I didn't have people following me. At this point, I know exactly where I'm heading, and I know exactly what the outcome is intended to be, but I do require your guys' assistance. With this in mind, it's absolutely imperative that we start pulling together, and this is why if you've got a piece of good news that you want to pass on. Yeah, LA Moon goes, Moses was an older man too. It didn't stop him. No, it certainly didn't. He kept going round and around in circles. And if you've ever seen sand dunes, even on the movies, you go to sleep, the whole landscape looks silly. It's just you're completely lost. Dogface goes, I mean, at the start, the cow jumped over the moon. After 15 people touched the rumor, the cow did a little squirt and made the moon over many jumps. Okay. The funny part about it is that particular little nursery rhyme. Does anybody know how the cow actually jumped over the moon? And it actually did happen, and has happened many times. But does anybody have any idea how a cow could absolutely jump over the moon? Okay, and in a few minutes I will absolutely tell you how. Andrew, how you doing? And Andrew, very happy birthday to your wife. Dogface goes, he got yeeted from a giant in Skyrim. That's terrible, LA. That's absolutely terrible. No, if you think about it, the way the cow jumped over the moon, I'm going to pop everybody's bubble. Because I look at nursery rhymes, and it's really bad. Ring Around the Rosie. We were singing and teaching our kids nursery rhymes based on the Black Death. The cow jumping over the moon just took a little bit of rain and a clear night. The moon it jumped over was the moon reflection in the puddle. Okay, London Bridge is falling down. Everybody sings about that terrible earthquake in London that dropped I think it was an earthquake that dropped London Bridge. Okay, so we've got a lot of things changing. Okay, and it really is time to make things happen. Okay, one of the biggest things we have to have, is we got to have focus on the things that can be made a better day. Okay, this is great, and this is why I encourage people to do this. We got one birthday that gets mentioned, and everybody's jumping on and going happy birthday. Oh, it was. You take a look at the children's stories from Hans Christian Andersen, and and who are the Brothers Grimm. If you've ever seen the original stories, we are not talking about a real happy-go-lucky thing. Think about Rockabye Baby, When the Wind Blows. We're talking about a tornado that kills kids. I don't know how these ever became nursery rhymes, but what the heck? So now one real quick piece of information, and this is directly directed at Jess, but applies to everybody. One thing you have no option on, no matter what goes on in your life, you will get older. Okay, you will absolutely get older, but it's up to you whether you get old. Okay, I personally reached a point 2 years ago. I went, I'm not happy with the way my life is. I'm now in better physical shape than I have been in 30 years. It was Frost. Ring Around the Rosie, a pocket full of posies. First of all, it was about, it was about the Black Death. Okay, but because what happened is you ended up with a ring around your neck. Okay, and it was believed that a pocket full of posies put in your and that you fill your pocket with posies, a little flour, would help protect you from the Black Death. Okay, that's where that all came from. And Ozzy has wandered in here. How you doing there, Ozzy Gold? Glad you could join us. It really is time to, now, let me see here. Just a curiosity thing. Right now in this stream, we've got Canada, US, England, Denmark, Australia, and Singapore have all been identified. Is anybody in here from somewhere else? Because I'm actually tracking it. Okay. Is anybody in here from a country that hasn't, that I didn't just list off? The reality is I would love to see this stream. Eventually, maybe somebody will translate it, but I'm not holding my breath. What do we got here? Well, yeah, absolutely. They're only. I'm not counting where things reach outside, because I'll tell you, I take this same message. Okay. Yeah, we absolutely are. The reality is, Nathan, we reach a lot further than people think. The reality of it is that the reality of it is I take this same message to the various different races I deal with. Okay, which reminds me, and I've got to make certain I do that. What is today? This is Wednesday. If I get time, I've got some other things I've got to get done. But so I do have to make a couple of phone calls and what have you, which is great. I finally had some really good news from an old, from a client, customer, from a major corporation I was working with that shafted me. They finally got the message I'm not paying them anymore. The funny part about it, I don't know if this was good, bad, or indifferent. They shafted me. Then I ended up losing as in misplacing my credit card. I never bothered phoning them back, and they can't collect anymore. They weren't doing anything. What do we got here? Odds is going. Apparently, there was a volcano or ejection from the ground back then. It's documented across in places other than Europe. North Africa lost rivers and lakes. 5 million people in China. Oh, yeah, that's, there's a lot of things. What we have to remember, especially in today's world, is we either start working together and start paying attention to the calling from Esau, from Mother Earth, from your guardian angels, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we don't start working with each other in a positive fashion, then the end of the world that everybody's so intent on going, we're all going to die. Well, we are. Okay, like I told my other half, the only reason I won't marry her, there's 2 reasons I won't marry her. If she doesn't get up here before either I die or she does, I'm not marrying her. Okay, it's just not going to happen. That's just the reality of it from my standpoint. And what I am looking for, and again, guys, just throwing it out there for you. Now, I hate to be blunt about this, Dogface, but much as I appreciate that, I'm pretty certain that if I remember correctly, you're male. And in that case, there is not a prayer that's ever going to happen. Having coffee, sitting down for dinner, for lunch or whatever, meeting face to face over a tall rye. or a tall beer. Either way, I can do either one. Marriage, not going to happen. I got nothing against male marrying male or female marrying female. I could care less. For me personally, not going to happen. Yeah, Dogface goes, my short 6-foot blanket did not do the job last night. Yeah. Honestly, Cowie, we actually do. Now, fortunately, because I've got a child that lives with me. He's a young adult now, but I still get the tax break as like marriage because he still depends on me. Now, that was last year. He's 18 now. I don't know if I still get that, but I'll figure that out. But yeah, we absolutely, if we're married, we actually do get a tax break for it. But I'll tell you, the tax break is the least of my concerns with actually desiring to marry her. Okay. It's just, I told people, and I've been very clear about it. I desire the best of the best. For me, she happens to fit that bill really nicely. Okay. That's just the reality behind it. Time to start getting those designed. But we have a real serious issue here where this world, we've got a choice. Are we going to continue going down this road to a negative outcome? Are we going to let that happen? Are we going to listen to the so-called leaders, our spiritual guides, our religious icons? Are we going to listen to them go, your world is going to end, you're going to die? They are right. And I can tell you, every single one of you is likely to die at least once at the end of your lifetime. In my case, I just get a lot more runs at it. Well, look at the bright side, Dogface. Back in 1996, I was actually asleep with my wife. 3 o'clock in the morning, and some genius decided to light the house we were living in on fire. Okay, at least with the fireplace at the far end, at least it's reasonable. Yeah. Well, Philip, in all honesty, this is what I spend most of my life doing. When people come to me, that's actually what I end up looking at. That's actually what I look at. They go, this is what I'm looking at, and I'll look at it and go, okay, let's turn the lights on. Here's where the pitfall is. You go down that road, you've got this outcome in all likelihood. Here's a couple other options. Okay. And then it's up to the person. Because I don't make decisions for people. And yeah, it really, quite literally, that whole thing, guys, was 3 o'clock in the morning and we're asleep. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't imagine why we were asleep. And all I get is bang, bang, bang on the window. Get up, get up, get up. I open my eyes and say, hang on, keep your pants on. I'm coming. Guy goes, your house is on fire. I says, fine, I'll put my pants on. I rolled over and shook my wife's shoulder. I says, dear, you might want to get up. And she goes, why? And of course, she's really groggy. She goes, why? I says, well, because the house is on fire. She goes, well, what time is it? I says, 3 o'clock in the morning. Why do I want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning? I says, because the house is on fire. And I'll tell you, she was out of bed in a heartbeat. I never actually seen her get dressed that fast in my life. But we get outside, and the cop is trying to put the fire out. All we had was a garden hose. The fire truck was a little occupied and on the way. I looked at the cop and I says, you know what really ticks me off about this whole thing? He stops. He goes, somebody lit your house on fire while you were, somebody lit your house on fire while you're in it. I says, no. I says, technically it's not my house. But I said, he says, then what could be bothering you? I says, they didn't warn me ahead of time so I could dig the wieners out of the freezer. And he looks at me and he goes, you're upset that you didn't get the wieners out of the freezer, not that the house is on fire. It says it's a waste of a perfectly good fire. Where are we here? I'm just going to go back up here a bit. Yeah, definitely, Joe. You find a woman that, find a partner. I don't care if it's male or female. Okay? I don't care what it is. Keep it legal, though, shall we? Keep one that is supportive. Find one that is supportive. One that you can relate to. One that you feel good being around. I wasn't looking for somebody that I could live with. I was looking for somebody that I didn't desire to live without. Okay, and don't get me wrong, I'm not suicidal by any functional stretch. Now, Ozzy is just saying here, I've been going to astral travel courses the last few weeks. I had already been doing it for years, but I wanted to tune it. They talk similar to the Buddhists, where unless you connect with the Creator, you keep getting reincarnated until you do. Ultimately, that is what it boils down to, because every time you reincarnate, you learn a little bit more about you, and that's where tracking down your soulmate comes in. Okay, because eventually, what's going to happen? Okay, what's going to happen eventually is you'll find that missing piece of the puzzle. You'll find that one soulmate. And when you find your soulmate, when both of you physically die, that's when the souls merge to become a higher entity. Then you go looking for the next soulmate, which is the next step up. In the course of that time, you're still going to have the option of finding the other thing that is much more common, which is an optional life mate. Not your soulmate, but somebody you can live out the remaining corporeal days with. Dogface is just going, uh-oh. Yeah, Dogface, not Dogface, Ozzy goes, where are we? Dogface goes, this is not my house, this is not my beautiful wife. You're putting songs in my head. Yeah, but I don't do the tune thing. Absolutely they have to. That is terrible, Philip. Twin flames are another issue. Now, in a nutshell, I did another video on this, but the Reader's Digest version is this. Take the soul. It splits into two equal, identical parts. These are your soulmate. This is your soulmate. Okay. When that soul splits into two parts, and when this soul splits, okay, and you end up with two now, and this soul splits, and there's two more. So now we've got four. Your twin flame, you've actually got two. Okay, because both of these are the twin to this one and to this one. Okay, now no, I don't do the Spock thing in separated. My hand doesn't work that way. Okay, so from that standpoint, a twin flame, that's essentially what a twin flame is. A soul family is when you break down when you take the original soul and you go down the twin tree. Okay, what you're going to find there is all of those people are members of your soul family. Okay, you may have run into some of them in past lives. You may be running into them now. And I have started looking at the people in this room. And yes, some of you have asked, have we been in life together before? And in some cases, I know of a few where I can tell you exactly. I'm not going to tell you exactly, but there are a few people in here where I can tell you exactly where that connection was. Okay, but at this point, you desire to redesign your own life. Take a look at where your life is. Are you content with where it's standing? Dogface goes, I had a first date last night. Why I got ticked and didn't go to work. I have a message, but I'm not keen enough to look at it yet. Usually when I don't remember, I've done something stupid. See, I'm lucky. I usually go, I did something stupid, and then I hope to find out I didn't. It's like I told somebody one day, look, I've been wrong once in my life. I thought I was wrong, and I wasn't. I got news for you, Philip. God won't get offended by premarital relations in the first place. God had nothing to do. I have no doubt that is their current custom, but it's got nothing to do with God. Now, I won't argue the point that the church may be upset, but God could care less about it. God's idea is very simple. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. That's simple. As long as you're treating them decently, that was God's message to everyone, not just to the clergy. Okay. Joe goes, I saw a brunette in Kroger today, grocery shopping. She was disabled in one of those electric shopping carts. Wasn't having a good day. And at that point, I wasn't. She smiled at me. And that, Joe, is sometimes all it takes. Okay, it's just that little bit. From that standpoint, sometimes a simple smile, a simple, how are you doing, is all it takes to make somebody's day a little better. Sometimes that's it. Now, I will absolutely tell you, do what you can to help the people around you, but do not hang yourself out to dry in the process. Okay. Like I really have to start looking into things and see what Dogface, you're on your way. You have a good night there, Dogface. And thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And again, people, if you do enjoy the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Okay, and do subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of it. It's time we push the message that you don't have to listen to people telling you the world's going to end, that we're all going to war, that we're all going to die. You are going to die. Every one of you, pretty much. There's only been 3 purported cases in human history about people that didn't die. Now, what, pray tell, did that do that for? Oh, I see. Okay. Well, glad you're sticking around, Dogface. Really do appreciate it. The fact of the matter is, from my standpoint, really boils down to this. We have a choice. Now, I'm taking a look at my world and going, I'm getting things organized here. I'm starting to push the limits to really sit down and go, how can I get people to look at the brighter side of things? Okay. Now, yes, I do my best to look at the brighter side, but rest assured it's not all I see. I'm hoping Chad is still, the chat is still listening in here. What do we got here? Philip goes, I have a little crush on a journalist I've never met. She keeps upsetting old media by standing up for people without power. I admire her relentless integrity. Kind eyes, too. Yeah, and that's just it. We've got to stand up. I love the message that Xavier gave out on the movie X-Men Apocalypse. When Xavier goes, my message to you is this. Those of you with the power, protect those of you without. Okay, this is essentially the same message. Gotta stop doing that. This is essentially the same message. It is absolutely necessary, okay, that we start looking at each other and focusing on the similarities, not the differences. Yeah, Dogface goes, I can drink beer until I'm sober again. Yeah, I know what that's like, only I didn't drink beer. I used to drink hard liquor. Mind you, I could mix and match. I could drink beer, I could mix, your shooters, I could mix your hard liquor. It didn't matter. Except for one little detail. Not a real brilliant way to spend my younger years. So I quit. Not spending my younger years, just quit drinking. But if you guys have a piece of news that you find of somebody that's done something good, okay, absolutely let me know, because one of the things I am watching for now to add to the newsletter is just little blurbs of, hey, somebody did this. There won't be great big long articles. I'm only one person right now. Okay. Eventually, I will build it to the point of it being a full-size magazine. Okay. Oh, Philip, what literally got me into drinking, I barely had a drink at New Year's when I first did this, but one Friday night, one Monday night, I was absolutely bored walking downtown, and everybody talked about how exciting bars were. So I walked into this one bar, and it was a Monday night. Absolutely great time to walk in there. It would have been a Monday night in April. Okay, in April of '86. Okay, I walk in. I ended up talking to the Kochek girl, and I don't know if she said anything or if I just picked it up. I to this day don't know. Okay, but she made a comment. What I heard was, I've got a severe drinking and drug problem, and I want out. Well, my parents had made it very clear that you cannot assess somebody's life if you've never walked a mile in their shoes. So I did the only rational thing. By the way, stupider than all get out. I dove into her world, spent most of my time when I wasn't actually on shift. Most of my time I spent with her. Now, bear in mind, she was drinking and doing drugs all the time. Net result, so was I. She didn't have two pots to rub together when I met her. Right. But over the course of the next year, because like I said, I'd go down and I was drinking solid from 8 o'clock at night. The bar didn't open till 8:30, but we were drinking solid until 4 o'clock in the morning. Right. And then I get on with my day. But I told her, what I did was I eventually guided her away from the nightlife. And by the end of the time I was with her, okay, she finally walked out of the bar. The day she walked out of the bar, she was off drugs, off the alcohol, half owner of a house, and engaged to be married. Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that I had developed any feelings for her at all. It was literally, she wanted out of the alcohol and drugs. I walked in, turned the light on, walked out, pulled her and just pointed her out the door. She did the walking. Okay. Absolutely a best move. But that's what got me into it. Dumb freaking move, I'll tell you. But on the plus side, I never paid for 1 ounce of drugs and only 2/3 of my alcohol. Yeah, and yes, well, as near as we can figure, I ended up dead from a drug overdose. But, what the heck? So what ended up happening was I got out of it, no withdrawals, no relapses, no interest in drugs at all, and alcohol I only drink 2, maybe 3 shots a year, sort of thing. Once on July 27th, which was my dad's birthday, so I have a shot of Drambuie that day usually, and then either Christmas or New Year's, sometimes both. Okay, where I'll have a drink or two at that point. But I don't recall the last time oh, that's not true. Probably about 10 years ago, a buddy of mine made pear wine. Beautiful, smooth wine. So we took a glass of it, a full 5-ounce glass, and we drank it like wine. Then we went to stand up. Both of us landed back in our chair and we looked at each other and went, that ain't wine. That's brandy. But it was good. Yeah, Dogface is going. The older I get, the more appealing day drinking becomes. Get that stuff done by 2000 hours. As in other words, by 8 o'clock at night, and up by 6. But we have. Oh yeah, absolutely. The reality of it is this: we have a choice. Everybody makes silly moves when they're younger. Absolutely, and you cannot undo those silly moves. But you do have a choice whether you're going to bother continuing down a silly path or are you going to change the direction your life is going. Okay, that's the reality of what we're looking at. Of course. I keep looking at this going, that picture up there is backwards. It's running right and left to right. No, it's not. But I'm looking at this camera here turns it all backwards for me. That view, which is what you're looking at, sits properly. Oh, Ozzy goes, I've had that happen with grappa, Croatian homemade spirits. Yeah, sometimes alcohol can be really deadly, as far as really hitting you hard. But again, there's nothing wrong with drinking in moderation. Okay. But again, much as alcohol in moderation is fine, there are some things you don't drink. Okay. I used to drink pickle juice. That was fine. Never had a problem with it. It's not bad for you. But some of the things the younger generations come up with, oh, let's drink this because this is a challenge and it's really silly. I'm thinking, like, why would you consider drinking that? You know, yeah, ultimately, Dogface, you really do. You know, the really neat part about the whole issue of being normal. Normal boils down to you're doing what everybody else thinks you should be doing. As long as you're following the laws of the land in which you are, and you're treating people the way that you desire to be treated, normal is overrated. Okay, normal, and today's society, it seems to me, normal means be rude to the people, be discouraging, be depressing towards people. Now, what, pray tell, football, because that may be really handy, but what, pray tell, do you do with the pickle juice for leg cramps? Yeah. Ozzy goes, they say it's wine, but I think he says, I think it's actually, what is it? I think it's actually moonshine. It probably is. Oh, now there's an idea. Any amount that you recommend? Because every now and again, my calves will lock up solid. Usually, I figure it's because I've been sitting down too long. But I will tell you, the way the world is working, the doctors don't give you the things that'll tell you how to heal. They'll give you the things that'll tell you how to cope. I'm a firm believer I've had enough of the coping thing. This is why I decided it's time to go, okay, guys, who here wants to look at the world and see a better world coming out of it? As compared to staring at the, as compared to staring at the problem, at the problems that are evolving and go, oh, look, we've got land shortages. There are no land shortages. The fact of the matter is, Earth is getting bigger. Okay. There is a shortage of land in places that have all the amenities. Okay. But there is no shortage of greed. Yeah, LA is going, you drink it, Keith. Not bad if you have cramps from dehydration or lack of potassium. Add a quarter cup about a quarter cup is usually enough. I try to mix it with Amish muscle tonic from Amazon and a spray on the spot. I appreciate that because looking for things that will help straighten things out. I'm still looking for the proper formulae to actually rebuild my teeth because the dentists are totally useless about that. But no, I finally decided it was time to step out of the shadows and go, okay, I tried this several centuries ago. It is now time to stand up and say, people, let's get up, let's start working with each other and simply treat people as we desire to be treated, i.e., be nice to each other. There isn't one of you that has a belief structure that doesn't teach the same thing that the other belief structures have if you look at their cores. Some of you may well be going down a really bizarre path. Yeah, but that would indicate that I actually had a sense of rhythm. And that went the way of the dodo bird a long time ago. But at least, Dogface, you didn't come up with the idea I could sing karaoke. Guys, I don't carry it. And the only way I carry a tune is I grab a CD or I grab my cell phone now that can. I think my cell phone can record, can play music. But you get the idea. I can put it in a bucket and we're good to go. I'm thinking drinking mustard might be a bad idea. But not an idea. No real solid outlook on that. Well, that is true. I mean, technically, I can sing. Technically, I could sing at karaoke. I know I have one girlfriend, she had a voice like an absolute angel. She wanted me to get up and sing karaoke with her. And unfortunately, I didn't have the nerve for it at the time. Of course, understand I was still extremely reclusive at that point. So I mean, I'm looking at that side of it. But it really boils down to this. I can, years ago, I used to sit down at the skateboard park, and they've got a little mound there, and I would sit down and talk to people like I'm talking to you guys, okay, and I would literally have. Well, I ended up at my strongest. I ended up sitting on the mound with somewhere close to 40 people sitting around the base of the mound. Okay, I was sitting on top of it. And they're sitting all around the thing. And there were a good 40 people ranging from 8 to 80. And I'm sitting there going, this is way too flaming familiar. So, and then of course lockdown hit and everybody went into hiding. But I still look at it this way. We have, I've got to myself come out of the shadows and go, people, you're not getting the message. It's time to start encouraging people. Look at earlier tonight, and you're going to have to forgive me, guys. Well, you don't have to. Okay. Somebody came in here and mentioned their wife had a birthday. Okay. And a bunch of people jumped on. It's like, happy birthday. I bring up, and then of course we've got, Frost Kitten. She's got a new website up. Okay. And I wonder how that's working. Let's take a look at Frost Kitten. And Frost Kitten, let's hit refresh, shall we? Hit refresh. And what do we got here? Yeah, we're still sitting at 18 subscribers. Okay, well, you are. But this really boils down to a very simple issue. The people in this room are absolutely emulating the idea of let's really work together and help people feel better about themselves. It's absolutely imperative that we do this. And that is what I'm referring to. That is exactly what I'm referring to when I say it's time to focus on the positive side of things. Okay, this idea of waiting for the world to end or waiting for it to straighten itself out. If we don't stand up and do something, if you're not happy with the way the world is, okay, I encourage you to do what I just did, what I've turned around and done, and gone, okay, here's the way to reach people. It's time to stand up and do something. Yeah, I have no doubt it's a lot of work, Frost. I absolutely have no doubt about that at all. I'm looking right now, where is it? Yeah, it looks like you've got on the front page, unless I missed my guess, that is Joker's X. The picture you've got there. Can't read that, so what do we got? Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Joe's just going, Joe's just going, when the world starts ending, we tell people where it is. The neat part about it is this. The world will eventually end. Civilization will evolve beyond what you're recognizing. Okay. The reality of it is it's going to be what we make it. It's either going to be a cesspool from hell, although I will tell you up here the hot tubs aren't half as bad as they are there, or we are going to have paradise on earth. The call is yours. Okay. And ultimately, this is really, when I look at the Yldrbac Chronicles, the story of the novels I'm writing, that's why the last story is called Return to Paradise. Okay. So it's got a lot of work. I've still got work to do on it. But it really boils down to this. We've got to decide, are we going to have a better future? Are we going to guide our kids back to the point? Our kids, the young adults, the generations coming up behind us. Are we going to start going, look, you got to get on track. Okay, we have left a mess, but you can straighten it out. Now, I figure I'm aiming for, I'm 60 now. Okay. I'm aiming to turn my health around to the point of making another 80 years on this planet. I'm not looking at dying anytime soon. I've done that often enough. Got the ball cap, got the t-shirt. Yeah, Dogface goes, sometimes I want children. Then I remember I'd have to be responsible then. Yeah, couldn't be a crap dad. Well, technically, I've seen a lot of dads that are. I was lucky. My father was brilliant with it. And this is why I say I don't recall mom and dad ever even arguing. Yeah, Ozzy, you can keep all the marshmallows, and yes, you're even able to keep all the chocolate. You know, s'mores I never did take to. Marshmallows I never did take to. I remember being in the hospital when I was 12. They gave me a bowl of chocolate pudding with baby marshmallows and went, "You've got to eat that." I looked at her and I took the bowl and I put it over on the table. And I said, "You want that eaten? You go for it." Okay. No, and we know that for an absolute certainty, Dogface. There is no way you do that to other people. The negative thing. I know way too many people that do. Okay. And I just look at it going, how can you possibly do that to your own kid? Or for that matter, to somebody else's kid? We have to start setting a better example. I remember the other day, I spotted a young couple walking along. The woman was with the guy. The guy was blind as a bat, right? And I walked up to them. I said, "I do have a serious question for you." We had a short discussion, but the guy turns around and he says, "The most common question I ever get asked." Now, bear in mind, he's blind, right? The most common question I ever get asked is, "How do you go to the washroom?" And like he said, he told the person, "Look, if that is your biggest problem, you got more. If that's your real question, you've got bigger problems than I do." You know, but no, so I get along now. Whenever I see them, they'll wave at me, I'll wave at them. We don't actually see each other much, primarily because we live nowhere near each other. But they are right across the street from the restaurant I go to. Now, with that in mind, guys, we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. Okay, I really want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me. It is time to start changing our life now, focusing on the things we can redirect into a positive light. With that in mind, I'm tomorrow's Thursday, so I won't be back. But on Friday, let me just double check here. Friday, we are looking at the paranormal, that's for certain. We're going to look at the paranormal world for beginners. How do you help a budding telepath deal with things? How do you help a child medium function? Okay. Honestly, my last 3 years with my primary psychiatrist, we were simply helping him understand the new breed of people he was dealing with, because he was getting uncontrolled psychokinetics and telepaths, and he didn't know how to cope with them. But with that in mind, I'm going to call it a night. Until we meet again, which will be, like I said, Friday. Until we meet again, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.